Smiling and happy as always, psychologist and philosopher Carlos Camacho in for a chat. Hi, Carlos.
Hey, Deb.
You're always smiling, it's true. You're always happy.
Yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors.
What, you cry when you go home?
Oh, yeah. The yin and the yang.
We've been talking about authenticity for the last couple of weeks, and there's still more to talk about, isn't there, about being our authentic selves and the courage it takes and the resilience.
I love that when you mentioned that we're going to talk about courage, because that's exactly what it is. In a way, and there was actually a philosopher called Kierkegaard from the 1700s. He was Dutch, I think. He might have been Dutch. And he was one of the first to really focus on authenticity. And he talked about courage, funny enough.
Really?
Because he thought that basically freedom of choosing what we're going to do is scary.
Yes.
Because he thought, basically, it was very simple. He thought in a world where everything is maybe, like we talk about eternity with regards to future life, or we talk about infinity with regards to the universe. He felt that our lives being short, we have an infinite amount of choices in a finite life. So he thought that's scary, because it's not only whether you can turn left or right, you could actually keep going, or you could just stop, or you could turn back.
Go backwards,
And every single moment of our lives, there are almost an infinite amount of choices that we can make.
That's so true.
And so he thought that's scary, and the only way to be authentic is through courage, to conquer that fear of making decisions. And of course, there are big decisions in our lives, but even those little ones sometimes take us into a journey that aren't really, does not feed our authenticity.
Doesn't sit true.
No.
Yeah. And not to worry about being judged by others, because, everyone's different, and
That's
judging oneself as well.
Yeah. The thing is that we all have our own beliefs. We all have our own way of seeing the world. And of course, we're going to have different perspectives. And opinions, that's all they are, really.
That's right.
It's coming from one perspective. That's it.
Yeah, and there's so many perspectives.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And sometimes we feel that our perspective is the right one. About a couple of weeks ago, we went to see the full moon over Soldiers Beach.
Beautiful.
And it reminded me of something incredible, that, that light that the moon shines over the ocean, it goes directly to you.
Wow.
And then again, someone standing 10 meters away, it goes directly to them. Isn't it incredible? And you walk and it follows you,
Yeah.
It's like the Mona Lisa with her eyes. But that's what we are. Everything seems to be centered around us. So hang on, no, the moon is directly towards me. And you could argue with the other person, and you're both right. Because it's your perspective.
I love that.
It's your perspective. So it's not about trying to convince the other person, I don't think. It's about just understanding that's all it is. But if you start from that point of view, then you're not going to worry about what other people say or opine about you, if you like, because it's really just their perspective. Now, then you can make a decision and say, okay, I wonder why they have that perspective. Is it something that I've done, or is it something that I can change? And maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. But either way, don't get emotional.
Yeah, and something you can learn from, maybe?
You can learn from, maybe ask them why they have that perspective. And maybe you might be able to, in one way, grow on yours.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is so very true. I love this topic that we've been chatting about.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important topics, because if you find a certain way of living your life, a certain way of thinking, you're comfortable with it, that's authenticity. So whatever you do, whether things work out or not, you're being authentic to yourself.
That's right. And hobbies, careers, things like that we love doing, if we love doing it, well, it's our authentic self, isn't it?
That's exactly right. And, we all sometimes forget the things we loved. And suddenly you realise, I love that. Why have I stopped doing it? And there's a couple of things in my life that I'm going back to, because I realise I'm not being authentic by not doing that. And music, as you know, is one of those things.
Yeah.
And it just feeds your soul.
Yeah, it does. Mine's writing. and I'm going to start again.
I know you told me before, and now it's official.
It is
you
official.
said it live on air.
Everybody heard it.
Now
All these
we need that
people.
book. This time next year should be out.
That's a bit of pressure.
Come on, you got
1
a year.
year. Might take me 10.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
No.
It's the journey of writing it that's most important. And then what is published is published, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's almost like, to something else now, And the bands talk about that, people that write songs, and they tour this album for 2 years that they've probably wrote 4 years ago, and they're over, and they're already thinking about the new songs.
Yeah.
But, obviously they've got to survive as well, so they get through the motions, and it's always good to put some projects in front of you. And I love the fact that you're going to write this book because you've been talking about it for a while.
I know. It's time.
And you'll feel so much better once that first sentence comes on the page. You're on.
I'm in the flow then.
You're in the flow.
Yeah.
The blank page is very scary. Again,
yeah, it is.
It takes courage.
Yes, good on you, Carlos. And we're all uniquely beautiful, aren't we, as humans?
Well, yeah. I mean, in a way, we're all imperfectly perfect, like you said.
Yeah.
I remembered that one. And that is so true. And because what is perfection anyway? Is it an ideal that we have in our head? A bit like Plato used to say that. There's an ideal tree, an ideal rock, an ideal person maybe. And I think that, yes, we could start with an ideal, like a carpenter starts with an ideal. He wants to, or she wants to make a table. Of course, you have to come up with a perfect table in your head, and then you aim for that, of course, and you measure twice, cut once, of course. And in life, we do that. We have those ideals, that the ideal song that we want to write, the ideal book, and the ideal friend, the ideal partner. But in the end, they're only ideal within themselves. They will never match our ideal, and we have to be careful with that because that's how we set ourselves up for failure.
Fantastic, Carlos. This was a great topic and a lovely song.
Oh, the bass on this song. It's one of the reasons I started playing bass.
Okay.
This and Come Together by the Beatles. I thought, I want to be able to do that.
And you can. Tried it, and you could do it.
I could do this one, not Come Together.
Here it is, the Motel's Total Control. See you next week, Carlos.
For sure.